My name is Ray. I'm a member of Andover Baptist Church, and we've been looking at forgiveness. And on Monday we shared the results of our forgiveness, and the reconciliation with God is that we've been adopted into God's family. And yesterday we shared the story of the woman washing Jesus' feet in Simon's house, and the statement that those who've been forgiven a lot love a lot. Today we look at the expectation God has for us to forgive others. And I want to look at Matthew, which is the first book of the New Testament, chapter 6 and verses 6 to 12. When you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. This then is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive those who have wronged us. I want to stop there. What we're saying there here is, if we do not forgive others, we're basically asking God not to forgive us. It says, may you forgive us as I have forgiven other people. Ouch, maybe. Bear with me, please. I want to now look at Matthew chapter 5, the previous chapter, and verses 24 through to 26. And here, I'll start at verse 23. If you are offering your gift at the altar and remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who has taken you to court. Do it while you are still with him on the way, or he may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. I tell you the truth, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. The sacrifice was the very center of the temple worship, which was the very center of all the Jewish worship. And Jesus is stating that the restoration of the relationship with somebody is more important than that worship. We should be the ones who makes the first approach, not expect the other person to make the first move. How many families, friendships, even churches have been destroyed by somebody holding out to principle instead of seeking reconciliation and giving forgiveness. And then I want to look at Matthew 18, verses 21 to 35. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times should I forgive my brother when he sins against me? Up to 7 times? Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. As he began the settlement, a man who owed him 10,000 talents was brought to him. Since he was unable to pay, the master ordered that he, his wife, and his children, and all that he had, be sold to repay the debt. The servant fell on his knees before him. Be patient with me, he begged, and I will pay back everything. The servant's master took pity on him, cancelled the debt, and let him go. But when the servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii. A talent was 100 denarii. A denarii was a day's wage. He grabbed him and began to choke him. "Pay back what you owe me," he demanded. His fellow servant fell to his knees and begged him, "Be patient with me and I will pay you back." But he refused. Instead, he went off and had the man thrown into prison until he could pay the debt. When the other servants saw what had happened, they were greatly distressed and went and told their master everything that had happened. Then the master called the servant in. "You wicked servant," he said. "I cancelled all that debt of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant just as I had on you?" In anger, his master turned him over to the jailers to be tortured until he should pay back all he owed. This is how my heavenly Father will treat each of you unless you forgive your brother from your heart. Jesus warns us that if we don't forgive others from our heart, we will suffer some kind of spiritual torment. In other words, we are opening the door to bring the enemy's influence or spiritual attack into our lives. This could be bitterness, resentment, these sort of things. Now let's be honest, forgiveness is not easy. We often have to face the pain that the act that we want to forgive has brought us. We have to be emotionally honest with ourselves and with God. But when true forgiveness is given from the heart, it will also bring healing into the situation. It does not take away the memory, but the pain can be overcome. We all have to live with consequences of other actions. It is how we do that counts. When we forgive, it's for our own sake. Forgiveness is an act of the will from the heart and depends on us, not the other person or party. By choosing not to forgive for what they did, we stay hooked to the pain of what they did. When we forgive them, yes, we let them off our hook, but when we let them off our hook, we place them on a different hook, God's hook. And he states that he will repay. I know where I'd rather people have to face retribution, and it's not from me. God does not ask us to do something that depends on others. It's up to us to forgive. And tomorrow, I want to share with you my journey in forgiving my father. And I found that incredibly painful, but yet such a relief when I did. God bless.